More than 80 gleaming historic racing cars lined up on the starting straight. This was the highlight of the exceptional lineup presented at a new event created in 2023, the Lohéac Legend Festival. Like major events such as the Le Mans Classic or the Goodwood Festival of Speed, the Lohéac Legend Festival celebrates its stars, the Rallycross stars, for which this small village is considered the World Temple.
Welcome to Loheac.
Loheac is the name of a small Breton village known for its famous Rallycross event, traditionally held on the first weekend of September for nearly 50 years.
C'est la plus grande course de rallycross du monde.
Each year, this usually very peaceful hamlet transforms into a boiling cauldron with between 50,000 and 75,000 people flooding its streets and the hillsides of the circuit to witness an extraordinary sporting event.
De venir courir ici à Lohéac avec une ambiance pareille, c'est des moments incroyables.
Loheac Rallycross is the best rallycross in the world. Over
the years, the world's greatest drivers in the discipline have come to make history on this barely 1 kilometre long track. The latest is Sébastien Loeb, the French driver who has been a 9-time World Rally champion and active in multiple motorsports. He won the 2023 Lohéac Rallycross 10 years after his first participation. It was under the colours of the Bretagne racing team that the Alsatian engraved his name on the winners list.
Et à Lohéac, j'ai des grands souvenirs d'ici par rapport principalement à l'ambiance, au public. Donc je me suis dit de revenir courir en France un coup à Lohéac, ça serait top.
By winning the event, Sébastien Loeb enters the legend of Lohéac. But to understand why this small village is so special, we need to delve a bit into history. Situated 30 kilometers south of Rennes, this small village, with barely 700 inhabitants, has, in 50 years, become a reference point in motorsports. More impressively, right after the 24 Hours of Le Mans, the Lohéac Rallycross is the second largest motorsport event in France in terms of attendance. The Rallycross event has spurred the development of automotive activities. In addition to the Rallycross circuit, there are a road circuit, 2 karting tracks, driving schools, and one of the most beautiful private museums in France dedicated to mobility, the Manoir de l'Automobile. Over 400 prestigious or sports cars have been amassed over the last 30 years. Even the former president of the FIA, Jean Todt, was left speechless upon discovering the exhibition.
En anglais, on dit speechless, sans parole. Donc c'est magnifique, et déjà c'est magnifique tout ce qu'on peut voir, surtout quand on aime l'automobile, et surtout quand on pense aux années de travail que ça représente. Il faut être courageux, bravo Michel.
The village even had its own car manufacturing plant, Automobiles Hommel, which produced 234 cars. But why this passion for automobiles in this small rural village in Brittany? The trigger was this man, Michel Hommel. A press magnate of Alsatian origin, he notably created the magazine Échappement in 1968 and Auto Hebdo in 1976, both dedicated to motorsports. Michel fell in love with the beautiful stones of Lohéac in the early 1970s and decided to make it his vacation spot. The mayor at the time commissioned Michel Hommel to create an event to revitalize the village.
Célestin, le maire du village.
His passion for motorsports naturally led him to organize a car-related event. During his travels across Europe, Michel discovered a competition that was invented somewhat by accident in the south of England at Lydden Hill in 1967, Rallycross, invented somewhat by accident due to, or rather thanks to, a health crisis. An outbreak of foot and mouth disease led the organisers of the RAC Rally to cancel the event. But to avoid losing the money from the broadcast contract with the BBC, the organiser improvised group races on the small Lydden Hill circuit. Rallycross was born. The concept was well received and subsequently developed in Northern Europe.
Whatever the car, correct suspension settings are essential. Otherwise, taking off is too easy. Soon moving once more.
Enthralled, Michel thought it would be quite easy to reproduce in Lohéac. With the help of the Bretagne racing team, led by Pierre Tollemer and the festival committee, the adventure began. In a field lent by a farmer, a track was quickly drawn and cut out with a bulldozer. Michael Hommel's connections in the sports world allowed him to bring in drivers from all over Europe, as well as French stars like Jean Ragnotti and Henri Pescarolo. His friend, Stéphane Collaro, a TV star at the time, was tasked with commenting on the races. Only about 1,000 spectators were expected, but the success exceeded expectations, and more than 10,000 curious visitors joined the festivities in this small field. The success was total. But it went further, as in 1977, a French championship was born with the creation of about 10 circuits across the country. In less than 15 years, the event went from a local fair to a high-level national competition. The organization entered a new dimension. In 1986, under the impetus of Yves Plantard, the new president of the festival committee, and Pierre Tollemer, a new permanent circuit was created with all the modern facilities. National media joined the party with live broadcasts. Loheac's gamble was won.
Rallycross de Lohéac en Bretagne, une production de FR3 Rennes, des commentaires de Loïc Mathieu pour une manche très spectaculaire certainement du championnat de France.
Je ne sais pas si nous sommes à l'antenne, mais je pense que cette fois, les téléspectateurs peuvent voir apparaître sur leur écran la numéro...
In the 1980s, the sport evolved, and in 1988, Rallycross made its revolution with the introduction of Group B cars. These powerful cars were banned from the World Rally Championship because they had become too dangerous on ordinary roads. Manufacturers like Peugeot gave them a second life in Rallycross. Jean Todt, then manager of Peugeot Talbot Sport, introduced the formidable 205 T16. Ford, Audi, Lancia, Austin, Citroën and Renault followed suit. This marked the entry into a new, highly spectacular dimension. The public was won over and continued to grow over the years. In the 2000s, attendance peaked at nearly 80,000 people during European and World Championship rounds. Obviously, accommodating such a crowd requires solid organisation. Over the years, an army of volunteers has been formed to ensure the smooth running of the event. By the early 2010s, around 700 volunteers were working under the banners of the Bretagne Racing Team and the Festival Committee.
700 sans qui on pourrait pas rouler, donc un grand merci à eux.
Without them, we are nothing.
The Loheac adventure is on track thanks to the unwavering determination of its volunteers for nearly 50 years, and the momentum doesn't seem ready to wane. Thus, 48 years after the creation of its event, Loheac RX decided to take a look back. And it was under the impetus of Philippe Tollemer, the son of the event's creator, that the idea of creating a gathering of historic vehicles was launched. This motorsport enthusiast, owner of a 205 T16 and a magnificent Alpine Tour de Course 73, created the Rallycross Legend Show in 2016 with his father and sister. A group of about 15 historic cars gathered at a few rounds of the French Championship for demonstrations. The public's enthusiasm for these legends gave rise to the idea of organising a dedicated event. The history of the sport was written on the Loheac track, and it seemed only natural that its actors should be celebrated here.
Lohéac a écrit l'histoire dans des tas de domaines, et Lohéac a de la mémoire. Et aujourd'hui, la mémoire, elle est là, aujourd'hui. Et ce qui est formidable, c'est qu'on regarde le passé en se projetant dans le futur.
Il était naturel de faire ce premier événement à Loheac, donc le Lohéac Legend Festival. Et pour monter cet événement, il fallait d'abord un pilote habitué à faire de l'historique, mais qui a été aussi champion en rallycross. Et c'est Philippe Tollemer qui m'a dit, qui est venu me voir en me disant « Est-ce que le rallycross peut y aller ?» Je lui ai dit « Oui, et toi tu t'occupes des pilotes. » Et c'est comme ça qu'on est parti au printemps de l'année dernière.
But to organise a high-quality historic event, a line-up beyond the 20 or so cars from the Legend Show was needed. Across Europe, many championship participants preserve and restore the machines that created the legend of the sport. Thus began a long crusade to convince the drivers to come and inaugurate the Lohéac Legend Festival.
Philippe m'a emmené à Goodwood, qui est la Mecque au festival de Goodwood, et roulé avec la 205 T16. Et là, on a draillé les pilotes, on a fait coucou, vous connaissez Lohéac, on a envoyé des flyers.
The bulk of the work was done in England with the help of a certain Pat Doran. Pat has made his mark on the sport's history, raced at Loheac, and regularly joins the Legend Show with his Ford RS 200. Since 2004, Pat has also been the owner of the Lydden Hill circuit, where it all began. Very quickly, a significant number of drivers responded positively, and a partnership was conceived between Lydden Hill and Loheac. The opening round took place in Loheac in 2023, and in 2024, a round will be held at Lydden Hill. The event takes place over 2 days with several highlights. The drivers are invited, and Loheac RX provides the participants with the necessary facilities. The goal is to offer drivers a pleasant, pressure-free weekend, while also providing the public with a show that meets their expectations. These cars are made to run, and run hard. There is no competition, but the drivers are free to exploit the potential of their machines at will, and the show meets expectations. The weekend is divided into 3 main highlights: a grand gala evening, a large parade through the streets of Loheac, bringing the public closer, and a day of demonstrations on the main track of Loheac. During the gala evening, key figures in the discipline are honoured. However, some requests are rather unusual. An English guest had a rather comical request. He wanted to leave Loheac with a road sign from Loheac. Patrick Burton, the mayor, was not fazed. 30 minutes later, after a few turns with a 13mm wrench, he returned with the said sign to present it to the village fan driver. The sign was even signed by Michel Hommel and Patrick Germain. Anything is possible in Loheac. The Lohéac Legend Festival is an unmissable event that celebrates not only the stars of Rallycross, but also those from the world of rallying and rally raid. This event offers a unique opportunity to discover gems from the history of motorsport.
Really enjoyed the weekend, it's really good. Really good.
It is a special moment where enthusiasts and the curious come together to admire legendary vehicles and relive iconic moments in automotive competition.
On avait le projet avec Philippe Tolmer de remonter la première voiture championne de France de Rallycross en 1977 avec Jean Ragnotti. Et là voilà.
What can be said about the magnificent Xantia Turbo 4.4 of Jean-Luc Paillet, restored for the occasion? Jean-Luc Paillet is the most decorated French rallycross driver with 10 French championship titles, 7 won with Citroën and 3 with Peugeot. In 1993, he won both the French and European championships with this BX Turbo 4.4. 1993 was the year when, in the French championship, a certain Christophe Vaison gives a hard time to the man from Finistère with his AX 4.4. For the occasion, the two men played along to recreate the duel.
Allez, ouais, on va se préparer. Voilà, la voiture est chaude, Jean-Luc arrive. Et on va essayer de se faire plaisir.
Vaison va-t-il tenir? Vaison va-t-il l'emporter? 3 ans qu'il rêve de cela. 3 ans qu'il voudrait gagner devant Paillet. À l'accélération, le gros moteur contre le petit et Paillet passe. Superbe. Paillet déchaîné, freinage. Vaison, Paillet, Paillet, Vaison.
In 1993, it was Jean-Luc Paillet who won the duel and, at the same time, the title. The Lohéac Legend Festival is much more than a simple gathering of cars. It is a celebration of passion for automobiles, a tribute to vehicles of the past, and a unique opportunity to share this passion with other enthusiasts.
The track's phenomenal, just unbelievable.
Good event. Proper event. Thank you.
Extraordinaire.
Whether you are a car lover or simply curious, this event offers a memorable and enriching experience. For this first edition, nearly 10,000 people attended the event, echoing the very first Rallycross in 1976. Surprisingly, the average age of the audience is quite young, proof that the passion for motorsport is still alive and being passed on to new generations. The next edition will take place in 2025, with an even more extensive lineup and many activities on the programme. Loheac has not finished making you thrill.